Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome to another edition of eHeroes. Today's eHero is Dennis McGrath, and we're going to talk about being a serial entrepreneur because there's a lot of you guys that are listening. Maybe you have one or two businesses. Maybe you're doing real great on one, but struggling on another, and you want to know how to develop those. So Dennis is going to, he's going to provide the skinny on some of these answers. So welcome, Dennis, and thank you for joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
How did you get started? I mean, I know that you do, you have an executive company that I guess deals with helping with employees. But what's the other one?
I own a national loan signing service that focuses on providing mortgage closing services to people that are refinancing their homes, purchasing a new one. And then we also have a different division that focuses on people that are leveraging the internet to be able to buy cars.
Wow.
The dealers were getting tired of people getting the best price from them and then going and shopping on the internet and then eventually losing the sale to a local dealer. So I leverage my national network of signing agents to be able to guide the people through the payment process, sort of like Carvana that you have now.
Oh, yeah.
And then once the paperwork is done, we FedEx it back and the car is delivered right to their driveway. So just trying to make sure we offer continuous benefits beyond just mortgages.
So you really don't have to go to a car dealership to get your car. They'll bring it right to you.
Yeah, exactly. We have so many people that get excited because they can sign and buy their car or refinance their house, and they don't even need to wear shoes. They can do it right in their dining room.
Wow. That's But how does mortgages and car loans, I mean, are they similar in structure or?
Well, the paperwork is because you're still dealing with finance. You're dealing with financial documents. You're dealing with F&I people, and you're dealing with both the financial institutions in addition to dealing with the people that are on the banking side of it. So it all comes down to underwriting. So It's about understanding the paperwork and being able to communicate with a variety of different people to make sure the process is comfortable.
Now, having multiple businesses requires multiple hours or long hours, and
yeah, I mean, that's whatever time it is now, 9 o'clock at night, and I'm still after it. I probably could still work another 5 hours. It's what it takes to be able to drive a business in today's market.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in the cleaning industry for 20 years, I would put in the long hours. I would clean during the day, have my employees come in and help, and then we'd go out and clean banks or commercial properties, and I'd be, putting in 20 hours. I'd be burned out, and I couldn't do it anymore. But, sitting there and dealing with finances all day long and having numbers being crunched, I think that would be more excruciating than cleaning.
Well, on the flip side of it, for me as well, I like being able to drive the vision. I like being able to kind of steer my own destiny is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that work for corporations. They always talk to me about being an entrepreneur. You don't know where your next paycheck's going to come from. And then 3 months later, you talk to them and they wind up getting downsized or getting their paperwork that they're going to be a reduction in force. So you make your own security. That's what I've learned.
Oh, yeah, you do. And before we got on the call, you were telling me that, we had met a long time ago. And, we had met at a fellow entrepreneurs event, Andrew Mazur's event. And it's going back at least 6-7 years because I think I spoke at that event when my first book came out.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
A lot of things have changed in those years, and we both got older a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But technology has increased to the point where it makes communicating so much better. Now we have Zoom technology. We have we can make calls on Facebook and LinkedIn. Does that help you with your business better, or does it complicate things?
Well, it helps my business a lot because it helps me remain in control of what's going on. Because we do business in all around the country, I'm dealing with different time zones. So I can't just work 9 to 5 and think that I'm going to be able to reach the people that I need to, both on the client side and the candidate side. So you have to make yourself available. Technology makes the world a lot smaller, and people can fake it pretty well on the telephone. But when you get on a video call, you can actually tell if the knowledge is top of mind, if they have a real grasp of it, or if it's something they've just been exposed to on the periphery.
Yeah. But now with technology, it kind of opens up your business to be more continental. You're all over the United States,
Yeah,
and not
exactly.
and not just local.
Yeah, it's you try and grow organically. You try and take care of your backyard, but at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're reaching the customers where they are, not just where you are.
Yeah, a long time ago, I read a book, and I think it was called Acres of Diamonds, and it said that you can, generate most of your income from people that are local to you. When you interpret the book, because all those diamonds are in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really, experienced that. Most of my acres of diamonds are outside of my local area. I mean, they're all over the United States.
Well,
So
I think it's about how you think too, Rob. To be honest with you, if you think just laser focus, then you miss a lot of opportunities.
yeah, yeah. So how does your business, cope with the long hours? And I know that you put in a lot of hours because, we just talked about that. But, after a while, it's like, okay, another 16-hour day, another 18-hour day. You have employees. Why can't they do some of the work for you?
No, you can. I mean, you delegate the most that you possibly can, but at the end of the day, when you're a small business, you still feel like unless you're seeing it and touching it and at least overseeing it, it's not being done exactly how you would do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm constantly trying to be able to revisit what they've done to make sure that the receivables are coming in and invoices are going out and issues have been resolved. So
I mean, we
that's just,
create content for clients all day long, and it's usually I'm the one who's touching it and looking at it and feeling it, and I got to make sure that it sounds like my client or something that my client would say. Otherwise, it doesn't present real when it's get posted on social or in a book or in an article. And
right.
so, yeah, I can appreciate that, and it's just so many things out there. And I know that there's so many, and I just wrote a book on scams, especially in the auto industry. So how do you guys overcome some of those scams that people are trying to, maybe you have it down to the point where you can detect scams, but I know a
Well,
lot of banks are still getting ripped off.
yeah, they definitely are. Now, I'm not going to say that we're completely immune to it, but there's processes involved, there's security measures involved, and we make sure that we have the right things in place from an encryption standpoint to be able to safe harbor the borrower's information. Because at the end of the day, we have access to everything,
Yeah.
names, addresses, social security numbers, and that has to be handled in a certain way
Yeah.
to make sure that we're not opening them up to liability or ourselves for that matter. So it touches back on technology, what you were referencing earlier.
Yeah. Because I mean, with Equifax getting, hit, and, the FTC coming after them. And now the whole thing where they're supposed to pay out some money, but they don't have enough money to pay out. And there was somebody else, another company just got hit too. One of their internal employees just stole a whole bunch of data.
Yeah, it seems like every day somebody else is in the news. I'm not sure what the ultimate answer is going to be, but you would hope when you're talking about a big enough company like Equifax that they have measures in place that are far going to surpass what we can have as a small business. So
Yeah.
it certainly is an issue on my mind from a small business standpoint to make sure that we're locked down pretty tight.
Yeah, but I mean, as a company that harbors a lot of that data, what do you do, or do you have to have extra insurance to protect you, from any of those, intrusions from hackers or
The simple answer to your question is yes, and we certainly carry insurance to make sure that we're protected and that the borrowers are protected in the event something like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned a long time ago to try and do what I do best and hire someone else to do the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, I make sure that we have software providers and hosting companies that can spend a lot more money on their resources and technology and encryption than I ever could as a small business. So I leverage what they do best and I focus on what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Now, as a serial entrepreneur, do you guys use any VAs, or do you just mostly do in-house with the people that you train?
I deal with it in-house. Now, I've got 4 people that help keep me organized on the administrative side.
Mm-hmm.
The most important person is my office manager, Eva, in the office. And it's about giving her ownership, giving her responsibility, and really giving her my confidence to make sure that she can make the decisions that she needs to make on a daily basis in a fluid environment. So I can't micromanage her. That's why going back late at night when everybody is gone and seeing what happened, I can make those minor corrections if they need to be made. But at the end of the day, you have to try and hire the best people you can and trust them that they're going to do the best that they can for you.
Yeah. Do you run both businesses out of the same location, or are they different locations?
No, I run them out of the same location, different areas of the office, but that way I can try and use some of the same people and leverage them the best possible. So I sort of laugh when somebody tells me that they're done. When I see them on Facebook or something else, I'm like, oh, I have work for you. Come here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that way I can leverage them.
And the way we structure things here is people are like, well, Rob, you're always on Facebook. How do you get all that crap done? Because you're always, but I'm always 60 to 90 days out in the content that we produce. So, even though you might be seeing me on social, I'm not really on social. I have it scheduled out. So, I might post stuff on my personal, but my business pages are all scheduled. They could be scheduled months out. And people are like, I don't know how you do it. I leverage the technology that's there. So I'm not in front of the computer all the time.
Don't give up your secrets, Rob. Let them think you're a workaholic.
That's some of the stuff that I teach my clients, because the fact is most of them are lawyers and doctors, and they don't want to be in front of the computer all the time.
Sure.
In fact, some of them don't even want to be in front of the computer at all. And what I've been really leery and warning all my attorneys about is getting political on Facebook, because politics right now is such a hot button that when you start posting it, you alienate any chances of people that don't see eye to eye with you. And they could come back and say, well, Judge, he's not really representing me because he doesn't align with my political vision, and what the stuff he's posting on Facebook, he's spending more time doing that than representing me. So I want to they request a mistrial. And the problem is a lot of entrepreneurs are so ingrained with social media right now, especially with politics, that it's ruining their business.
Well, I actually coach my candidates when I'm working with them. That's one of the things we go over, is making sure all their social media is locked down, marked as private, and try and make it as generic and as vanilla as possible. The last thing you want to do is have a client fall in love with a candidate, and then they check them out and they find out that they're really, really active in the Me Too movement, or they mention that 4-letter word or 5 Trump, and it can go either way. They either can love you or hate you instantly. So
I mean, I teach them that there are things that they can share, and I encourage them to share, a lot of their backstories, but politics and religion, stay away if you can, because it really, now if you can, with religion, there are things you can do that, bring people in and get them to share their experience. So you're kind of a little bit more in line, but politics, yeah. Right now, it's just it's too much of a gamble to even talk about it on social.
Yeah, the risk is not worth it. It's too polarizing.
Oh yeah, and I remember it was before, I guess it was when Obama was running. I posted something against Obama, and a week later, one of my clients found out and fired me, and I lost a $9,000 account. And I'm like, what the heck? I said to the guy, I said, wasn't I making you money? He goes, yep. I said, wouldn't I continue to make you money? He goes, yep. He says, but I give money to Obama, so you don't like him, so you're gone. I said, whatever.
Lesson learned, right?
Yeah, a very expensive lesson too, What are you going to do?
Stick to cat videos is all you can do.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that when I post stupid stuff, I get, hundreds of likes. When I post serious stuff, I get 1, 2.
Yeah, trying to figure that out.
Yeah. So, how do people find you? I mean, I know that you had given me a website. You want to spell it out and share it with the audience, and maybe they can follow you.
Sure. The recruiting firm, the name of the firm is Ashley McKenzie. And we started in 2000. The website is ashleymack.com. It's ASHLEY, M as in Mary, ACK.com. And we work with companies from all around the country that have a need to hire good people.
Mm-hmm.
They come to us, whether it's administrative people, whether it's sales, marketing, or executive, and tell us what they want the person to do. And a lot of times we take the job description and we put it in our briefcase, and then we just have a heart-to-heart conversation, and we find out what they want that person to do.
Oh, nice.
We learn about the culture, and it's just a matter of finding someone that has those skills and can meet up with that person's culture, and hopefully put them in the same room and have them both find out about the synergy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to.
So how does that, I mean, I know that is like a complete 360 to your other businesses, but how does recruiting people, how does that benefit? I mean, I know kind of the way it works. I say, hey, look, I'm looking for this type of person. You find me that exact person. How do I pay you? How does that all work?
They sign an agreement with us up front. It's called search agreement. It defines what the position is going to be, and it gives them a scope, or gives us a scope on what the person's going to earn the first year. So they give us that dollar range.
Okay.
So it's our job to be able to find someone that has the skills, is within that scope, to be able to give them a bump, to be able to make a move. They sign the agreement. They go through a 3 to 5 interview process. And at the end of that, if the company likes them enough to want to make an offer, then they make an offer. We help them broker the negotiation and then get the person to be able to start. Once they start, our invoice is generated. We get paid between 25 and 30% of what the person's going to make the first year.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a guarantee that the person's going to last in that position, be able to do the job, fit into the culture, and start reaching the milestones that the company wants. And they pay us within 90 days of the person starting. And then they have anywhere from a 6-month to a 1-year guarantee, depending on the level of position.
Oh, nice.
So,
most of them work out though?
Yeah, most of them work out because we do our diligence on the front end, making sure the person's not a job hopper, making sure that they have the skills, the certifications, whatever it takes to do the job. I'm not gonna tell you that we don't have people that don't work out, but a lot of times it just comes down to the intangible skills, the soft skills, about why somebody's going to or not going to be able to make it work.
I know a couple of my younger brothers had used services like that, and I mean, they're in excellent jobs right now, and they're doing very well. And they just I think if it wasn't for a service like yours, they wouldn't be in the position they are.
No, that's terrific to hear. I like hearing good stories.
Although, on the flip end, on the flip side, there are services that, I don't think do as well as you do when it comes to screening, and they give the industry a bad name.
Well, they're paper pushers. They're people that just leverage the job boards and be able to find someone, the keywords that match, and then just try and set up a quick interview. That's not what we do. We have a deep dive interview process that we do. Because every time we place somebody, you put a little piece of your reputation on the line. So we're real careful with it.
Now, are you going after a certain niche, or is it more scattered?
No, it's more like a compensation range. We float between $40,000 and $95,000 a year in income. And our experience is, if that threshold of 40,000 is good, because somebody can articulate what their management style is, what their vision is, and they can tell you where they want to go career-wise. Once you're under the $40,000 range, they're kind of just shooting from the hip, hoping that someone else is going to be able to help them grow their career. They really don't have a goal in mind. So those kinds of people, we just can't do the best job for.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of second career persons coming towards you and say, hey, these are my skills, this is my set, what can you do to help me find my second livelihood? Or
we can, but unfortunately those are not the people that we usually can help. Companies don't come to us and hire somebody that's a good guy and a fast learner. They just don't. They're not going to pay our fee to be able to do that. They want someone that has the skills that can instantly come in and resolve problems.
Yeah.
They don't want to just train somebody, otherwise they could do that on their own.
Oh yeah. So they're looking for someone that's very specific, and that's who you go after.
Yeah, they might give us 7 to 10 criteria, and they expect us to be able to find all 7 to 10 to be able to make our fee worthwhile. If it has 5, they don't want to know about it.
Yeah. So I guess there's a process that you go through to eliminate some of those I can't say headache people, but ones that just don't match the 7-point criteria.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just doing it over time, you wind up learning what it is. We have 21 steps that we follow in the recruiting process, and we have certain questions that we ask that are sort of open-ended
Mm-hmm.
that allow them to be able to just go off and talk. It's just not a simple yes or no answer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of asking the questions and then being quiet and listening to the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what they say, you can actually tell if they have command of what they're talking about, or if they've just been on a cross-functional team and been exposed to it, or if they have real ownership of the topic.
Yeah.
So
I remember when I was first starting out, I would get stupid questions like, what's your superpower? And I'm like, and I guess, as I got older and I realized, well, maybe that superpower question's not so bad, but it doesn't really help, me with that position.
No, it's abstract, and I'm not really sure what their motivation is. Somebody may have asked them, or maybe they read a book and they told them that's what they should be doing. But or that other silly question, tell me about your strengths, tell me about your weaknesses.
Yeah.
It's not really a good interview question, honestly. I'd much prefer it to just be a conversation.
For entrepreneurs, I like to pick out that one superpower that they have, because that's the one that's usually, what sets them on fire, that gives them the passion. But when it comes to an employee that's going to be, more of a follower, I don't think it really, like you said, it's more of an abstract, and it doesn't really help you determine who they are.
Mm-mm.
I guess you're not looking for entrepreneurs. You're looking for people that actually work for entrepreneurs, which is so much different.
Yeah, definitely. It's a different skill set, different thought process entirely.
I would call you're looking for sidekicks.
Yeah. Hey, every business needs people in the trenches. That's for sure. That's what makes businesses work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I know that you work 24/7. So, I mean, what do you do on your downtime?
Well, I've got 4 kids, so their activities pretty much become my life. I'm always trying to go and sit and watch what they're doing. I've got a son right now that's in junior police academy, and one that's up by Binghamton, New York, at camp. So it makes me feel like I'm at least exposing them to a lot of different opportunities to help kind of build who they're going to be.
Yeah.
So it's worthwhile.
And my oldest is 30, and I have a son that's stationed in Germany in the Army, and I have 6 kids and a grandson and another grandson on the way, and
congratulations.
Yeah. So I mean, as you get older, we get very busy, not always doing what pays the bills, but spending time with the family, which is what we started our business to begin with.
Yeah. Supposed to be able to get more time with family. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, but at least you provide what they need. So you just change what's important. That's all.
Yeah. But, at least you got the freedom to create multiple businesses, which is a lot of times what most entrepreneurs can't do. I was running the cleaning business as I was starting this consulting business long ago. And for me, it was the struggle of running 2 independently different businesses. My brain could not focus on, running both of them at the same time. And so I sold the cleaning business and focused on the consulting, and that panned out. I mean, I love what I do. But you have 2 businesses that are different, or multiple businesses that are different. So how does your brain operate and try to keep everything together?
Well, at the end of the day, it's not as different as you probably would think. We're still constantly interviewing people to be loan signing agents or title producers for us. So we're constantly using the same skills to be able to interview, qualify, and get the people in our network that actually have the skills to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of being able to prioritize your time. At the end of the day, each different business has its own milestones that you need to reach, and you're just delivering a service.
Yeah.
You're trying to keep people happy. You're trying to do deliverables just like every business. So it's not as different as you would think.
Is there one that you spend more time on than another?
I'm spending more time on the loan signing service right now, just because of interest rates being as low as they are and people liking what we're doing. We're going back to what you were saying earlier. We're getting so busy. We do between 500 and 700 closings a month.
Wow.
That's a combination of refinances and people that are purchasing homes and buying cars. And there's just no way to be able to do that in a manual environment. So I had to have an app created for us to be able to keep everything organized, and it needed to be what's called TRID compliant according to the Dodd-Frank bill, and make sure that everything is automated so that we have auto responders and we're keeping everybody in the loop on what's going on every step of the way, from the borrower to the loan officer to the title company. So every spoke in the wheel has to be communicated with so that they know where each loan is.
Wow.
And so we're constantly trying to leverage that network. We're trying to add different features to it that continue to provide a benefit to our clients and make it easier. I think the more you can automate it, the less likelihood you have to be able to have mistakes happen where you got to go in and try and apologize and fix it. So I'm learning as I go, but the deliverables are everything, both on the employee side that we have working for us and on the client side. This way you manage expectations.
700 closings a month, some small banks don't even do that much.
Yeah, it's you become a ringleader, that's for sure. You're dealing with people both on the client side, you're dealing with borrowers and schedules and medical emergencies, and I have people on the road constantly driving to all these different closings and borrowers' homes. So they have car breakdowns and they get in accidents, and you have to be able to adjust on the fly. But I mean that's what we do as small business owners, is constantly adapt. And you just start it. You got to think about it from a macro standpoint to make sure that you are continuing to grow and look for opportunities. But you got to get down in the trenches and figure out what the issues are, and then deal with them as they come up.
Well, I like what you said. It's all about the deliverables. And I think a lot of small entrepreneurs and small businesses and entrepreneurs forget that. They forget about, the systems that they have in place to get their products out there.
I've learned, just because I've been in business for so long, that the more you change your processes to be able to adapt to what a client wants you to do, the less likelihood you are going to be to be successful with that person, because you've broken what it is that you've proven that you're good at. So I've learned some clients are just not a good fit for us.
No, and this is one of the things that I teach my clients all the time, is that, your proven systems that you've created over, the course of the lifetime of your business are things that work. And the moment that you try to break that system or try to work within a system that you don't know anything about, like the client says, well, I need you to do this, this, and this, but that's not part of your system, that's when it costs you too much money. That's when it costs you, your sanity, your employees' sanity, and everything goes to crap.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason you have those systems in place, those processes in place, because you've already navigated those troubled waters. You know what the outcome is going to be. Mm-hmm. So I tell them, if you like my process, if you like what I'm doing, if what I'm doing makes sense to you and sounds like it can be a benefit, trust me to show you a better way. Yeah. And then it's up to you to be able to deliver. And if you don't, then you have to accept that responsibility and that failure.
Yeah. Hey, we're running out of time, and I appreciate you being on here, and this has been great. I think we could actually probably make a couple of these interviews out of your information, because you're a wealth of knowledge. But the listeners out there, this is why Dennis is an e-hero, because the fact is, not only is he a serial entrepreneur, but he's living in the trenches, experiencing this stuff every single day. And it's, like you said, it's all about the deliverables, and the systems in place. So follow Dennis, go to ashleymack.com.
You got it.
Follow him on, do you have a Facebook that they can find you on?
Yeah, they can find me under the business name. It's Ashley McKenzie. Okay. And then on the loan signing side, that business's name is Celtic Signings, CELTIC. And that's a national loan signing service. There
you go. So, hey, this is Rob Anspach with Dennis McGrath. And I'll see you guys on the next interview. Thank you very much. See ya.